Welcome, guys. Welcome, warriors. Welcome to the 1% Club. I thought I'd do one today. Reflection time. We are at 550 days and 75 days of monk mode. If I read my numbers right. So let's kind of get into it a little bit. Talk about reflections that I've had and things that I see from the long period of time we're on right now. So before I do anything, once again, subscribe, comment, like, and donate. You know what to do. I appreciate everything, as I always do. But I wanted to kind of focus on some of the things that I've noticed and just have a general kind of conversation a little bit here about this. So the thing about it is that when I look at these days, I don't really notice them anymore. I think the only reason I'm counting them right now is because this is the longest streak I've ever had, and I guess I just want to continue to see how long I go. But really, it's really more of a lifestyle, which is really what I've noticed, and I guess that's the point that I kind of want to really get across, that it's really more of a lifestyle type of change. And a lot of these benefits are not as exaggerated as they were when I was just starting out. And the first couple weeks, the first 90 days, you would see like exaggerated results because I was in such a state that I was depleted of energy, depleted of these things, and all of a sudden, now I'm bringing all that stuff back. Now at 550 days, it's a little bit of a different situation, but the benefits are still going strong, and I've noticed a lot of benefits that are very positive, and I really haven't noticed anything negative in the whole thing. So as I talk about this, I want you to kind of keep in mind that as time goes on, what you end up doing is that you see a constant pattern, and your body gets used to where you are. Now, if you ever go back and release and do those type of things, then you'll see the effect of that again. But in my case, I love the situation I'm in, because as I'm doing this, I'm getting stronger, and I feel I'm getting stronger. And there's a lot of differences. They're not exaggerated like in the first 90 days, but they are consistently getting stronger and stronger. Let's take, for example, some of these here, okay? Let's say, for example, my health. I just feel very strong. I haven't been sick. I haven't gotten, and ever, through the whole situation. And I haven't needed any sort of, medicine, anything like that to be able to help me, while a lot of people around me tending to get sick with the flu, different types of things. And it's just amazing to me how I'm seeing a big difference between people who I think probably are releasing and people who are not. And I think this is one of those misnomers in society that we see that is just giving people all the wrong information. And I being a person who's been suspicious ever since John F. Kennedy got killed, and I was born around that time, I really suspect a lot of things that are happening and reasons for this. And that's why one of the reasons why I'm doing this as well is to try to expose a lot of this stuff that's going on as being things that are not necessarily true, and things you have to kind of think about so that you don't get caught into the same type of situation that I got caught into. So when I look at this, my friends, when I see this, I have a very strong, consistent type of thing. And I still work out, I still weight lift at least 2-3 times a week. I'm still doing those things because one of my goals is to get into the best body shape that I've ever been in. And at 60 years old, that's pretty kind of crazy, right? But I'm at the point where now I'm getting to that point. It's not a perfect type of thing that I'm looking for yet, but I'm getting there. And I think certainly when you look at the situation, you would think, well, this is kind of really crazy. How can a person at this age do that? Well, can you imagine some of you guys are 20, 25 years old, all the great benefits if you're doing this now. And I'm 60, and I'm seeing benefits on my body and my health that I didn't see before. And I didn't see this when I was 20 years old, just because I just didn't have that release. I didn't have that stopping the release. I was releasing too much, right? And those type of things are things that you have to kind of think about whether or not, you want to change this lifestyle. And I'm not really talking about the 1%. I have about 50% of people who are not subscribers, and those are the people I'm talking about. Those who just view because they want to view, they're interested. It really is something you should really think about. Now, let's talk about another benefit. In this case, female attraction. It would be attraction either way if you're male or female. But female attraction is just really through the roof. Now, I know this is in lots of ways, but also remember, guys, because I'm married and committed to a marriage situation, I don't look at this the same way I did when I was not married. Of course, right? That would seem obvious. But I do notice the attraction level is just through the roof. Now, how do I notice that? Well, I notice that in anything people are saying to me. So if I have a woman come up to me, she'll come up to me and start basically flirting. Or a woman will say things in a certain way. Well, you notice that it's an exaggeration of how they would just say. Saying hi in a certain way. Or coming up and basically kind of looking at you with certain type of eyes, googly eyes, I used to call them. And you know that person's attracted to you. Now, in my case, fortunately, I'm in a situation where after a period of time, like 550 days, I'm not even really thinking about this. It may hit me at certain times, and I certainly then have to react to it. But for years, I was thinking about it way too much. Even before I was married, thinking about it way too much. And I didn't realize this secret, this retention secret. I should have realized it, even when I was in my 30s, when I was married, but I didn't realize it. I practiced the Fountain of Youth stuff and the exercises, and all those work really well, but I never followed the 6th recommendation, and that was celibacy, or not having any sort of intercourse, and keeping this energy going so the chakras can use it really well. And those things really work, in my opinion. Once again, I don't have the kind of scientific proof. I do believe there's some out there, but I believe it works for me. And that's all I can kind of share with you guys, what my experiences are with this stuff. I can show you research in other areas of life, but I can't really show a lot of research except for a personal experience that I've had with this. So the female attraction is just, it's so different that I can't really describe it. It's so different than it was before, right? But I think I was more on the bad behavior side, which I mean is kind of a wussy behavior side. And like I said, I'm not talking about the people now. I'm talking about the behavior. And that's creating a negative situation, almost being desperate. And now that's not the case, and it hasn't been the case, for a long, long time now. So it makes a huge difference in the attraction level that people give to you. So that's a big difference that I continue to notice, and it just continues to get stronger and stronger, okay? Then, when you look at focus, my focus now, it's almost like laser beam focus, which that was never the case. And it's getting stronger and stronger, which now I have focusing on 3 goals. Financial, there's a financial goal that I have, and a spiritual goal with God, and then a physical and health goal. And so those are the 3 goals that I focus on almost, day, night, day, lunch, and night, right? I don't know what they call it. You know what I'm talking about. But the thing about it is that I'm focusing on it all day long. And the thing that's incredible is that my focus becomes laser focus. And I can imagine a laser coming out of my head, thinking about these things all the time and seeing these things. That didn't happen before. And I think it was I was more unfocused than anything else. And I think the reason I didn't succeed in a lot of things is I was more unfocused. And I was more distracted, which goes back to a lot of things we're talking about, right? Retention, anything in life, addictions, those are distractions. And I have way too many of those things in my life, okay? So that's another benefit, the focus, right? Memory, obviously I'm remembering a lot of things now. I think Troy had mentioned this too in one of the questions he had. But that's another one of those things that I've noticed. A lot more, stronger memory of things. Just guys, just an overall beneficial, overall health type of thing. And I just can't explain it except to say for the fact that all the stuff that was inside of me is now back inside of me and getting stronger and stronger. And you're talking about basically around a year and a half. Okay, so if we go 2 years, 3 years, I can't imagine what this is going to look like and what I'm going to feel like at that point in time. But I know it's just going to be great. And I go back to some of the autobiographies of people like Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali, and looking at some of these people who went, for a long time, on retention. They call, whether you call it celibacy, whether you call it brahmacharya, that principle is still the same. There may be different aspects of it differently, but that's basically the thing that you're looking at. You're looking at not trying to chase, in this case, women around, if you're a woman, not chasing men around, and basically kind of focusing on, concentrating on your goals and using that energy in a positive way and not just kind of self-destructing, which you would do if you're releasing all the time. So when I look at this, it's very important to kind of have this in your mind as you're thinking about this, because things look different to you. I don't know how to explain this that way, but your perceptions look different. The way you look at life looks different. And the biggest thing, and no matter what situation you're in over the years, I've had a lot of fear and anxiety. And that is down to almost zero. There's times that I will still think about things and worry about situations, especially with the economy we have right now and all these health concerns and things that all this information going around, whether it's right or wrong, and what is going on, and all these issues that we see in our economy and with food and all kinds of stuff going on. I think it's easy for somebody to have fear, and I think that unfortunately, there's certain forces out there that are basically trying to get people to be scared, creating fear, and that is unacceptable. But once again, we'll do something on this pretty soon. But the boomerang of evil will come back to people, and it always does. Just like the boomerang of good comes back to people. And if you do good to people and you do that, you're not going to have those other issues. And I think eventually, like I'm seeing now, I finally have gotten, God has showed me the truth of a lot of these things that are happening, especially when it comes to retention and keeping your energy inside yourself and those type of things. And now I understand why in these old days a lot of the monks and people, they did not have intercourse with a lot of people, or anybody for that matter, because they spent their time praying and talking with their God and their creator. So it makes sense to me now, but for many years I just didn't really pay too much attention to it, or it wasn't something that I really thought was correct, and it was kind of silly, and so I stayed away from it. But the fear and anxiety, I don't fear things anymore. Things will happen good and bad, and I'll think about them, but my internal forces that are there are now controlling and handling the anxiety much better. It's much better. It's like night and day. And so I'm sleeping better. All these things are happening, which then obviously create a lot of positive effects. So guys, back again, and once again, I want to thank everybody for encouraging me and keeping with this channel as we hit 550 days today and 75 days of monk mode. Let's keep it going, and for those out there, some of you have longer streaks than mine. Keep them going. Let's keep working on trying to better ourselves, better our relationship with our Lord, and making the world a better place around us, treating people with love and not hate, and focusing on a lot of positive types of things that get us to the next type of level that we need to get to be closer to our Lord. All right, guys, so have a great day, and until next time, battle on.